Right. Another drug. This time testosterone, cypionate. Obviously, there isn't going to be a great deal of difference between this and enanthate. In fact, they're pretty much the same drug. But I'll go through this as a single, and then that way you don't have to watch that one to understand this one. So, as all testosterones, its anabolic to androgen ratio is 100 to 100. Half-life, the range is between 8 to 12 days. And that's what most people will set it at. Obviously, different metabolic rates and rates of metabolizing the drug within the system will have an effect on this. Its detection time is 3 months. Doses, conservatively, I suppose you're looking from anything from 125, 100 meg a week on a proper TRT style cruise up to 3 grams, 4 grams, even 5 grams for some people. Female doses tend to be 50 to 100 because of massive virilization, and obviously it's testosterone. Now, like all ester drugs, and the bit that a lot of people get confused is upon first administration, there is actually a hormone spike within the first 24 to 48 hours. Now, 200 mega test SIP resulted in a peak of 50 ng per milliliter after 24 hours, and it remained above 45 for the following 48 hours, and then it started to decline in action of its half-life. So that's worth bearing in mind when a lot of people talk about front loading and I'm needing to front load with this and front load with that. Not really, it's not that necessary. Now, the biggest difference between this and enanthate, and it's the main difference, is the acid that's used in the ester. Now, the acid for enanthate, I'm probably going to say this wrong, is enanthaic acid, and the one from cypionate is cypionic acid. Biggest difference? Cypionic is milder, less irritation. So if you find you're getting picked with test nth, then test sip is probably going to be a better choice for you. That is roughly it. You know, as a testosterone, it obviously has a pretty high conversion rate to estrogen. So obviously you need to be running ideally some form of estrogen management. It converts to DHT. DHT is a 3 to 4 times better binding affinity than testosterone, and this can cause DHT related problems in the way of hair loss, etc. There isn't really a lot you can do. In essence, if you're going to get hair loss from using steroids, you're going to get hair loss. You can run a FAV alpha reductase enzyme because that is basically what that enzyme converts test to DHT, so you can run an inhibitor of that, something like finasteride. However, bear in mind that DHT is a more effective version and a more potent version of the hormone. You will also impact on its effectability. Is that a real word? Anyway, moving on. Lipid manipulation. Now, low dose, sort of 300 mg and below, not going to be a major issue. However, when you start hitting regions of 500 to 600 mg and above, it's going to affect your lipids by around 20%. Now, you throw in an AI like Arimidex or letrozole on top of that, and that's going to further affect it by about another 25%. So, if lipids are an issue or a concern, you want to be looking more around Aromacin, Novadex, those sort of SERMs, rather than aromatase inhibitors. It is not hepatotoxic in the slightest. In fact, studies have been done as doses of high of 2,800 milligrams per week as an oral administration. Now, bear in mind, we associate orals with liver and kidney stress, and it has had no impact whatsoever. So you don't have to particularly worry about liver toxicity. It is obviously suppressive, so you're going to require a PCT or something along those lines post usage. And that is pretty much it in a nutshell. So, biggest difference between this and enanthate is the acid in the ester. So, effectively, if you find enanthate gives you pip, CYP is probably going to be a better choice for you. So that's it. I'd like to say thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.